Welcome to the channel. I was going to go biking today, but it's just so miserable. I decided to do a how-to tutorial. So today what we're going to be looking at is the chainstay protector. The Trek did come with one. It wasn't the best, so what I decided to do at the time of purchase is use an old inner tube and wrap that around, and then that way it offered full protection. But what I didn't take into account is the size of my feet, and at a UK size 13 they've been scraping on the frame for a little while there, and you can see that it's actually taken that paint off. So I don't get precious about it. It happens. I've got lots of other little dings and nooks and crannies that have happened with the bike, but I don't want it to get any worse than that and just continually rub that I'm going to cause damage to the framework, so it's time to get it changed. Now before I start with any of the actual how to do this, and it really is simple, but I just want to show you, especially while I'm doing it, that's the damage that I've caused with my feet. So it's something to be wary of, and it can happen on absolutely any bike. It just happens to be mine because of my ginormous feet. So let's get this patched up and sorted. Anybody can do this, it's so easy. So just get your tube. I've already cut it there, and what I'd recommend is that you cut it longer than you think you may need, because as you start to wrap it round it does very quickly disappear. So I'm going to cut it there. Right, so I've got my long piece there. Then what I'm going to do is just use the lines that are already on the tube and start to cut out. So you can see the lines go down there, and that will not differ from one tube to the next, so do it as neat as you can. So I've cut the entire length, as you can see there, for the piece that I cut, but you don't want to start wrapping this big bit of kit round, so select one of those other lines, and you can see they're on there, but you want it to be what is probably going to be just over an inch in thickness, so I'll come back when that bit's cut. So now it's been cut and it's nice and neat and runs that entire length of what I cut earlier, so let's get it attached to the bike. Now just to give you an idea of the damage it has caused, so as you look here, that's my foot that's done that, so I just have to suck that in. That just is what it is. But this here, initially, when you consider that Trek has installed already their own version of the chain protector, I noticed quite early on that the chain started to chip all the paintwork here, and this started to come away as well, which I covered in my actual bike review. So I put that on and it was absolutely fine, but just over time this has happened. So let's get it repaired. It's no biggie, it's a mountain bike, don't be too precious about them, they're going to get marked. Let's get it sorted though. So it's time to now stick it on. I'm going to start from where the damage has occurred. I don't want to go right up here because that will start to thicken up there, and you know, it might cause a problem with the cassette and chain later on. So I like to start at the back so that it's all hidden away, and what I mean by that is it's not sort of dangling loosely and looking a bit tacky on the front. So if you pull it nice and tight once you've got it lined up, and then put it around the back. Once you start it off, it's nice and easy, but you do want to get it right at the beginning, otherwise it will look a bit of a mess. Best advice for this is to make sure you pull as much of the elastic out of the inner tube as you can, because you do want it to reach the other end. Otherwise you'll be unraveling it and doing it all again. The good thing is you have the lines already on the inner tube, so you can just follow those like a badminton racket, squash racket sort of thing on the handle. It's kind of what it ends up looking like, and it ensures that you have it as neat as you can possibly get. You may have some writing on there depending on what tubes you have. You know, I've got a little bit there. I'm really not bothered about any of that. As long as it protects the bike, I'm happy. See, it starts to widen up at the end here, but as long as I can get that sort of section covered, so I'm just having to pull a little bit more out of that to get to the end. Right, and I'm there. So I'm just going to neaten that up slightly. Right, and you can see that will tuck quite nicely underneath. Now this is where having someone hold it would be handy, but all I'm going to do is put my cable tie in place. I like to have the cable ties this end, just purely because it's not going to get caught up in the cassette or any of the working parts down there. There's less risk of anything happening this end. Just try and do this with one hand here. Right, and I always have that at the bottom, hidden away where possible, so it just looks as neat as it can. And then once you've got one in place, it's pretty safe to say that you can let go of that. Then all you need to do, just marry it up like you did with the other one, and I always put 2 down this end. Let's make sure it's the right way. And then tighten that up as well, and that will just secure it really nicely in place, so you're not going to catch that on your foot or anything like that, and you can just tuck it behind if you need to, so it's out the way a bit more. Use your scissors. Good thing about cable ties, you can cut right up to the top, and that is it done. You can, if you want, stick one up this end. I wouldn't say you need to, I've never done it before, just the 2 down the bottom there, because it's very tightly packed where you've wrapped it round. But just compare that to what it looked like a second ago. Look at it now, and that will last a long time, and far longer than any of the other ones I've ever put on that cost a hell of a lot more money. So if you've got an inner tube lying around, this will do the job nice and easy. It still blends in quite well, and black generally goes with any bike colour, so it's a nice easy fix at a low cost.